$2,000 a month. And people just look and laugh and they go, I get it. And I say, there are two ways you can be a customer. And I ask the question, if I asked you right now, if I asked 100 people right now, would you rather buy our product at retail or wholesale? What do you think most people would say? Well, people say if I offer to buy it at retail or I can buy it wholesale, what do you think most people would say? Most people say, I want to have it wholesale. How do you get that? You get it on auto ship. What that means is, our company, for your convenience, allows you to order product, 2 bottles, 4 bottles, 6 bottles, a case of bottled product, and you get to choose to organize the date that it's going to be delivered, how much is going to be delivered. You can adjust it up, you can adjust it down, you can increase the number of bottles, you can decrease the number of bottles, you're in complete control of it. And for doing that, and that's the convenience we bring to you, you get it at wholesale. So guess what? Where pretty much every single one of our customers, people go, they are wholesale customers that are on auto ship. Now you can also become an associate. And an associate, what you get started is, it's $35 for a welcome kit. And that's the first thing that you want to get. The welcome kit is very simple. You're in business. You get 2 websites. One is in English, one is in Spanish. You have everything that you need to get started and build your business is right inside that welcome kit, so you're off to the races. Now the next thing is, you want to have some product. So we have Bazi, which is $120 for Bazi, and that's 1 case. If you look at that, it is $155. So everybody can get started, they can get into the business for $155. Now what's the spread? Where do people get into the business? Anywhere from $155 all the way out to about $2,000. And you may be asking yourself, well, what's the difference? Well, we're going to talk about it here, but when you came in tonight, everybody was offered a shot of Bazi. In fact, everyone here tonight had 2 shots of Bazi. In fact, when you think about it, you're saying to yourself, okay, the first thing is I want to have product for myself. I want to have product for my family. So I want to get that product myself. And that's exactly what people do. They buy the product for themselves. So they got 1 case or 2 cases that they're using for themselves. The next thing is they want to have product to pour for other people. So they can pour shot for people. So they're using 1 or 2 cases to pour for other people. Then somebody may say, you know what, I want to go home and share this with my wife. I want to go home and share this with my husband. I just want to think about this overnight, but want to try the product again in the morning. So you want to have bottles that you can lend to somebody and say, here, take a couple of bottles or take 1 bottle home tonight. You can just give it back to me when you get started. We go, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So we want product that we can share with people that we're going to build our business with. And then we're also going to want product to get people started with. When they're most excited, they're going to talk to the most people. We want to make sure they have product to share, because our best tool is what? It's Bazi. So people say, I get it. It depends on how big your goals are, how fast you want to go, how many people you want to talk to, and you also get a $10 discount only on your initial order. So people want to have an opening order that's appropriate for them to launch their business quickly and effectively, and to put themselves in the best position for profit. That's why it's anywhere from $155 to $2,000. Now I want to, for illustration purposes only, for this example, I'm going to pick 5 cases. In other words, I'm going to generate to show the presentation using 5 cases. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe off this information here, and I'm going to show you how people get started using 5 cases. We've already agreed we're going to get started with 5 cases, so how do we do it? Well, remember, now I very much know who's enrolled in the conversation, who's easy to participate with, who I've got the best relationships with. So I use them in the presentation. I engage them in the presentation. I use their names on the board. So, I take one of the people that's in the room and I say, this is John. And I'll pick another person that's sharp and into it. This is Tom. And what I'll say to them, now remember, you've got started with 5 cases. And one thing I want to share with you, when you get started with 5 cases, you're making a business decision. Because 80 to 90% of all the people that get started in business with you will get started the same place that you get started. Because they're going to ask the question, where did you get started? So how it works is this. John's doing the presentation for Tom. And Tom's invited some people over to his living room. And these people get started in the business. So if we draw it out, they now have 4 people that are going to start in the business. So let's assume, Tom, that I am one of those people. And what I like to do is just assume that I'm in your living room, that I liked what I saw, I'm one of your friends, and I got started in the business. Now, I want you to assume that I'm one of your sharp friends. I hope that's not too difficult a situation for you to assume that. And I want you now just to give me the names of, 3 other sharp people that you know. Now, what's important here is I don't ask them for 3 people that are going to get in the business. Just 3 sharp people. I know you know a lot of sharp people. Just share their names with me. So you start sharing some names with me. You'll go, Fred. He may share another one that's Jane. He may share another name with me, which is Mary. Do you notice how he shared all short names that were easy to fit in a circle? No. That's the beauty of me talking to myself. So you can see how simple that this actually is. We're just sharing this. Now what we want to say is, remember, we want to reinforce the point. Where are each of these people probably going to get started? Remember we said you're making a business decision based upon where you get started. 80 to 90% of the people are going to get started where? With 5 cases. So what you do is you write down 5 cases. And then what we do is, at this point, we get paid a first order bonus of $25, which equals $125. So what we're seeing here is the first incomes that are being created here are from what we call first order bonuses. And the first amount that we get paid here is $25. So now it's going to be the same for each person that's on this first level. So where's Fred going to get started? Again, Fred will get started with 5 cases. I'm looking to reinforce this point. I want to strongly have everyone make the connection that wherever I decide to get started, wherever they decide to get started, that they're making a business decision, because probability is high that 80 to 90% of their people and their people's people are going to get started there. So it's 5 times 25 equals $125. So now we've made the connection. We get the idea. Where's Jane going to start with? 5 times 25 is 125. Where's Mary going to get started? Probably the same place. It's 5 times 25, which is $125. I actually like to reinforce the point. I like to write it down again, so thus it's very, very clear. That means that you have 4 people in your business times 5 cases times $25. So you can see it's 4 times 5 times $25 equals $500. So now we can see that you've just made $500. This is your first order bonus. Now we're going to do it again. So we got 4 people times 4. In other words, what we're looking to do is exactly like we're doing here in this living room. We're going to do another presentation to help those 4 people find their 4 people by launching their business, having somebody else do the presentation. Perhaps it's still John doing the presentation, and now we're just growing this business. So it's 4 times 4 is what? Is 16. So we're beginning to see what's actually happening here. We're always looking at it from Tom's perspective. How much money is Tom making? John's doing the presentation, so Tom's very happy with John right now, and he's going to be even happier as we go on and we see actually what happens. So it's 16 times how many cases? Remember, we made a business decision. 80 to 90% of people